S tier. Ah, crap. I was supposed to end the video with the rating. Oh well. See you guys next month for the Majora's Mask video. Alright. It's Christmas after all. I'll give the people what they want. I have a challenge for you. What is the greatest game of all time? If you said Valorant, you're on the wrong channel, pal. Since I was a kid, this question has been really tricky. For a long time, I flip-flop my answers. So much can go into making a game the best. And there's so many different games out there. So when I heard that Ocarina of Time is the greatest game of all time by fans and critics alike, I had to see what all the fuss was about. I figured nostalgia blindness was a factor. Most of these critics grew up playing the first ever 3D Zelda game. And no matter what we're going to say, this would be their greatest game of all time. So while I'm going to be looking at this game from the era it released, I did only play this game for the first time when I was 17. You know, aside from when I was 10 and I played the Super Smash Bros. Brawl demo. So that means my adult brain can formulate my own opinions. Anyways, forget about all that. It's that time of year again. A big fat guy keeps saying ho 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 to me, which can only mean two things. Either it's Christmas, or I was out on a walk with your mother. What a jolly time of year it is, and how thankful am I? After all, it's 1998, so everyone has the same thing on their Christmas lists. An N64 with a copy of Ocarina of Time. That and a VHS copy of X-Files. Alright, the Christmas party is almost started. I better get in there. Merry Christmas, guys. That one's for you, that one's for you.
I can't wait to see what it is.
Oh boy! Hope you guys like these gifts. I've been saving up for them all year.
This is Titanfall 2. It doesn't come out for another 18 years.
And they'll stop support for it in 19 years.
This coupon's good for one free snow cone. Expired yesterday.
Yeah, it's December. Where am I gonna find snow this time of year?
The ground. Something about this feels very last minute.
You know, I don't even think he thought about us at all.
What?
You stupid f***.
What? Look, guys, I have a perfectly good reason for this. I was walking with my gift money.
Oh, let me guess. You decided to buy the new Zelda game.
No, nothing like that. There was no decision at all. I was gonna buy the Zelda game the whole time.
Oh man, you know what?
Yeah,
Fuck this.
well,
This is the worst freaking Christmas
Worst
ever.
Christmas
You literally
ever.
ruined
You're
Christmas.
lame as
No one
shit.
wants to play the new
Oh,
Zelda
no,
game.
guys,
I don't even
guys,
like
guys,
Zelda. That guy
guys.
killed Mario. What?
Come on, don't you want to play the new Zelda game?
No.
No.
I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, Sephiroth would never hurt our feelings like this. And you're a bad Christmas.
What? You know what? Fine. I will have a good Christmas. I'm gonna play Zelda, and Sephiroth would do this to you because he kills Aerith! What assholes? Who needs them? I got myself a big cup of Lon Lon eggnog and a new Zelda game. I don't need them. I'm gonna have a happy Christmas by myself. The late 90s. Blockbuster was sending you to jail for not clicking the rewind button, Tamagotchis were starving to death by the thousands, and the word pog had a whole different meaning. That doesn't even scratch the surface. 90s culture is such a beautiful thing to be gatekept by people born in 1999. But there's only one part about it that makes me jealous of anyone who got to be a part of it. Limp Bizkit. Oh, and of course, the video games. The PlayStation 1. Contrary to me not existing yet, I did later grow up with a PlayStation 1. Ever since I was 1 year old, I would play Spyro and crash religiously. Here, I even recreated what some of the gameplay looked like. I was 1 year old. What do you want from me? I fidgeted with the controller until I watched the funny dragon walk off a cliff. But as I grew older, I grew to love these games. While you all had Barney, Dora, and Mickey Mouse, I had the boys. This demo disc that I got had so many little demos for me to play around with. Like this one that gave me nightmares. You know, between this and Donald Trump being in Home Alone 2, I think 90s culture would have been a little too scary for me. But by far my favorite game for the PS1 was this niche little gem by the name of Brave Fencer Musashi. You see, Sony didn't start the PlayStation series to be a direct competitor to Nintendo. They were originally tasked with making the new disc add-on for the SNES. Discs were way more efficient to put games on due to how much space they could hold compared to cartridges. So, Sony started making the Nintendo PlayStation. What an oxymoron. a little device attached to the bottom of the SNES to read discs. Unfortunately, due to some bad business deals, Nintendo said, "Bazinga, we're backing out," and loaning some of their IPs to Philips to make the Philips CDI. Now, I know you probably don't know what the Philips CDI is, but you definitely know the games to see them. I don't actually know if this console did well, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this console didn't do well. Apparently, Nintendo never really cared about getting a CD add-on for the SNES. They just wanted to stop Sony from getting into the console market on their own. Good job, Nintendo. But then, Nintendo looked over at the Sega Genesis having the 32X add-on, the Sega CD add-on, and the Sonic & Knuckles cartridge that acted like an add-on, and for some reason said, "I want a part of that." Seriously, what the hell is this shit? I gotta build Voltron just to play Slam City with Scottie Pippen? Even if I had enough money to pay off the debt I had to go into just to acquire these items and an entertainment center big enough to house all of these items, my house would more likely catch fire from the surge protector that requires 3 dedicated power cables, not including the TV! Hell, at this point, I hope it does catch fire so my insurance can pay off my Sega debts! I am never getting back that down payment on Knuckles Chaotix. So even though the science showed that discs are better, Nintendo had rather go ahead and release a console with a cartridge reader instead. I sure hope that this stubbornness and neglect to acknowledge technological advancements doesn't become a pattern by Nintendo. So Sony went and made their own console, the PlayStation. To spite Nintendo even more, they hired Final Fantasy publisher Square Enix to make a competitor to The Legend of Zelda. Their result? Brave Fencer Musashi. This game is awesome. You play as Musashi. He's a brave fencer. There's RPG and action game mechanics, fully voice acted, 3D environments and graphics. This is surely my favorite game from the year 1998. Until November. Nintendo showed up to the party this generation in 1997, releasing Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64. Here's the thing, them putting 64 in the title of everything really shows how behind they are. They still think everything's about bits, and they can't imagine that they could have possibly have benefited from that whole disc deal that they backed out of. As for Mario 64, this game is so goddamn special and revolutionary, it'll for sure get its own video one day. But it was Nintendo's first real crack at a 3D game, and it did not disappoint. The future was here! 3D games were fully possible now. Take that, Star Fox! Now that we know Nintendo can make games in a 3D space, a new Zelda game sounds revolutionary. But the Nintendo 64's 3D isn't just attributed to this console's power. I mean, look at this. This looks a little painful to walk around in 3D with. Let's not play dumb. We all know it's missing a thumbstick. So I present to you the Nintendo 64 controller. What the f***? Do they think I have 3 hands? Aw man, put that away, there's kids here. So we got the A and B buttons here, pretty standard stuff. The control stick is stiffer than Mario when he saves Peach. To control the camera in most games, you gotta use the camera buttons. Look, I know this was before controller designs were streamlined, but look at the PS1. That's Nintendo's last gen controller, but with thighs and sticks. It is the perfect layout. I guess it's better than the Sega Saturn. Sega's last gen controller, but with no analog sticks. Between that and the warehouse full of Sega CD and 32X add-ons, Sega stocks were plummeting. I can't believe Sonic Jam didn't help them. Don't worry, Sega, there's always next generation. If gamers were meant to hold an N64 controller, would it look like this, or would it look like this? Whatever, man, it's not that bad. I just gotta imagine an American Idol censor bar over the controller so I don't get demonetized. This is more adult-rated than Conker's Bad Fur Day. In 1998, Nintendo finally did it. Their Christmas title for this year came out, and it went by the name, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Well, it's Christmas. I've waited all year for this and lost all my friends in the process. I can't wait another second. What a special intro. This song gives me chills every time I hear it. I know I've said it before, but this is the calm before an adventure. Man, we've come such a long way from the crunchy bit crushed music. It's really fantastic where we're at now. Sure, I do love how they had to make 8-bit or 6-bit music work. There's almost a certain art to it, kind of like pixel art. But with the N64, we're finally getting some less compromised music. And seriously, what a good first track to introduce us on. One of my favorite Zelda songs to date. And that is not the last time I'll be saying that in this video. But that is just the title screen. The game starts on a dream of Link's. He dreams of someone kidnapping Zelda as a big, scary, red-haired man faces him down. We then cut to a conversation between a fairy named Navi and a big tree with a face.
Oh, exposition?
Yeah, this is a nice way to start. Right out of the floodgates, we get introduced to Link. Not just the playable vessel, but as an actual character. Plus, we get to hear how all the other people and creatures of Hyrule talk about him, starting with Navi in this big tree. Navi, come hither. Doth thou sense it?
Doth thou know hither soundeth like a dumbass?
Here we have Navi the fairy, speaking with the great Deku Tree. Navi is tasked with seeking out the boy without a fairy and bringing him to the great Deku Tree. Navi shows us a frantic yet nice establishing shot of the area as she flies in to wake Link up. Link wakes up from having a dream about Zelda. Say it with me, class. We've all been there. He dreams of what seems to be a person kidnapping Zelda, as a big scary man spells out to us what stranger danger means. But that was just a dream. It probably meant nothing. I'm sure of it. Link wakes up in a start to him being violently assaulted by Navi. Navi explains that she is assigned to Link, and with that, the adventure begins. You leave Link's house and get to see the world ahead of you, which is all good and all, but hold on! There are two different Zelda players. Ladder climbing sissies and men. Here we get to our first little sandbox. Zelda by nature has always been pretty open world. This series ain't no Mario 2. For the most part. But just being in 3D with the camera showing at this angle is nothing short of revolutionary. They could have done a pseudo 3D like a lot of popular PS1 games at the time, but allowing you to have full control is not something that can be replaced. There's a reason that if you ask most people what the first 3D game is, they'll say Mario 64. Like, sure, this is 3D, but this is really 3D. I don't know how to explain the difference between Crash Bandicoot 3D versus Mario 64 and Zelda 3D. I think it's just all about the camera view. You get to see more of the world at any angle that you want, not whatever the camera on rails tells you to. Is it just me, or does Link look British? Look at this guy. Man, we have come a long way since Zelda 1. Look at these things side by side. Geez, the Zelda 1 concept art looks a lot more like N64 Link than Zelda 1 Link. It doesn't look perfect yet. He's very polygon. But this is so great, especially with what we were used to. Screw it, I'm ranking Links as well. Zelda 1 D tier, Zelda 2 D tier, Link to the Past A tier, Link's Awakening C tier, and Ocarina of Time solid B tier. Pretty good for their first time changing art forms. So, this area is known as Kokiri Forest. It's where Link grows up, and it actually feels like this place is alive. You can see houses and shops, and named characters with personalities. To be fair, most are pretty much background characters except for two, one of which is Saria. She seems to be friends with Link, and is very happy that he finally has a fairy. Do I detect organic storytelling? I mean, I know he was already called the boy without a fairy, which is pretty direct, but dude, this conversation, and just by talking to the other townspeople, tells me that all Kokiri children have fairies. Link mysteriously doesn't. All these children seem to respect the Deku Tree, and that this is a nice, safe place. Reading all this dialogue must have been so interesting back in the day. Or, you know, people probably did this. Hi, I'm Zackus Toasty. I love story in video games. I hate reading. My two favorite franchises are Pokemon and Zelda. Yeah, I don't know, man. This game has text boxes only, and despite me loving the game so much, I still hate reading. I'm unemployed, not an English major graduate. I'm just kidding, those are the same thing. But seriously, it's okay that this game doesn't have a single breath of voice acting. It's still 1998, and don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure at that time, voice acting in games was still extremely limited. even on the PS1. And the PS1 didn't have the storage problem that the Nintendo 64 did. I don't know, the only game I can think of off the top of my head with more than a few lines of voice acting is Brave Fencer Musashi, but I'm sure there's tons more. In fact, I know there is. But I play Zelda, not Gran Turismo 2. That game could have a 12-hour monologue of Morgan Freeman telling me how to build a Model X-Wing out of string cheese and I wouldn't even know about it. What I'm trying to say is, I understand that this game isn't fully voice acted. I mean, who would play Link? Chris Pratt wasn't famous yet. But I still wish I could digest the story without having to read. I'll give it a pass for now. But in 3 more videos, I'm gonna have a villain monologue. On the way to see the Deco Tree, you get stopped by Mido. He does the best impression of my grade school hall monitor, who wouldn't let me pass without a sword and a shield.
Oh yeah? Watch this, punk. I bet I could juke you out. Damn it.
So do some searching, find a sword tucked away in the maze. If you get enough rupees, you can buy a shield. Our fashion has nothing on 90s fashion. Mido has to deal with the shock and horror that Link is dripped the fuck out and lets him by. But he still makes a snide comment about Link not having a fairy. Bringing us to our first dungeon. It's short but sweet. It really focuses on climbing and using gravity. Really just showing off the y-axis. One of my favorite parts of any Zelda dungeon is when you have to drop from the top of the tree and use your momentum to break through these webs. This is the first ever 3D Zelda dungeon, and wow, do they really want you to know that. I really like that most of the dungeon involves circling back to these 2 rooms, gaining items and moving blocks accessible from other rooms in order to progress on. Finally, what this dungeon teaches you about 3D spaces all comes together in the boss fight. This one-eyed handsome scoundrel shows that it's not only Link that can use a 3D space, but the enemies can as well. He starts off clung to the ceiling and can only be interacted with by using the camera to look up. This is pretty cool as it makes sure that the player knows that they can visually access the 3D space. And it also shows that you need to be aware of your surroundings. Now, there's enemies in Zelda games that can only be defeated using certain projectiles. The most obvious example being these statues from Link to the Past. They got these big eyeballs that are perfect for poking out with a little arrow. But that is in a 2D space. This big bastard has a massive eyeball. So unlike Link to the Past, where all you have to do is look in its direction and click fire, this game's 3D, which means you have to actually aim to kill. It's a shame N64 didn't have aim labs. Using the slingshot puts you into first person to make sure your aim is as precise as it can be. Me personally, I just hold down the Z button. It lets you see Link and move around while shooting, plus it's essentially free aimbot. Take that, COD anti-cheat! Speaking of Z targeting, this game introduced it. Hell yeah! It's about time all my problems were solved. Z targeting refers to a mechanic in every 3D Zelda game, where you hold down the Z button and it locks your camera onto the nearest enemy, allowing you to duel them in a style almost similar to a 2D fighting game, but they don't have to change your environments for it. You're now locked on your axis and can break free from it at any time. Apparently, the famous creator of the Zelda and Mario series, Shigeru Miyamoto, asked one of the developers to make his game first person, and when you interact with an enemy, it would turn into a fighting game, side-scrolling, similar to the Zelda 2 game. If you're wondering what happened to that idea, Yoshiaki Koizumi. This man has historically been a bit of a thorn in the side to Miyamoto. Upon being asked this, Koizumi was a little bit offended. He made the Link model, and he would be damned if he was gonna have it locked behind a camera. Out of pettiness, he told Miyamoto he couldn't get it to work, when in actuality, he didn't even try it once. Thank God for that. Have you ever tried to play a shooter without 2 thumbsticks? It's one of life's greatest challenges. Next to not throwing your Game Boy in the river because you lost all of your Poke dollars at the casino in Pokemon Red trying to get a Dratini. Apparently the Z target was inspired by watching samurais fight. The way they would never take their eye off their opponent and so quickly move the front of their body facing their opponent. Man, Z targeting is such a good feature. I can't imagine 3D Zelda without it working exactly the way that it does in all of these games. And I'm so glad it started here, because now I can imagine what it's like if it doesn't work exactly the way it works in the future games. If you let go of the Z button in future games, the Z target deactivates, and you can now go back to looking where you want to look. But in Ocarina of Time, it's a toggle instead of a hold, which means you need to tap the Z target button every time you want to start a Z target, and then you tap it to end the Z target. This is so clunky and infuriating. Even the 3DS remaster makes it so that you can choose between the 2 options. I swear, every time I go back to this game, I just kind of get used to it. All right. Crash out all for nothing. I know. In this game's defense, it was the first to do Z targeting. It's not like they're breaking tons of precedent, which means technically the future games get it wrong. I don't know. I'm just so used to holding Z rather than tapping it. It doesn't take long for me to get used to how it works here, but there's just tons of common enemies I die to because I forgot how the targeting system works in this game. I just don't know if anyone actually prefers the toggle instead of the hold. Anyways, boss fight dead. Wahoo! We saved the Great Deku Tree.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye.
He's feeling better now. Okay, despite our efforts, the Great Deku Tree does start to die, but not before telling us to go seek Princess Zelda in Hyrule Castle. He gives Link one of the 3 sacred stones for helping him and wishes him good luck. Much like Link's uncle in Link to the Past, the Deku Tree's death serves as motivation to Link and the player. Our mentor died so that we could go on our quest. This time, the quest is delivered to us directly by the mentor himself. It's almost as though their will lives on through us. I absolutely love this. Sure, to us, he was just a dungeon, but to Link, he was a father. I gotta say, that's quite an odd-looking family tree. I'll be here all week, twitch.tv/ZachIsToasty. Unlike Link, who isn't sticking around here for another second. He sets off only to be stopped by his friend Saria. To make Link's departure from Kokiri Forest even sadder, she somberly tells him she always knew this day would come. Saria gives Link her ocarina, a porcelain musical instrument to remember her. Link says goodbye to Saria, and finally, we're here. Hyrule Field. One of the best parts about this game. A nice open area for Link and the player to run around on. Spoiler, you get a horse, it's so much fun. By today's standards, it's a little bit barren. But think about what it meant for this place to even exist in the 90s. Games the previous generation looked like this. Every single one of them. And I'm not talking about graphics, okay? I'm talking environmentally. Little exploration is allowed due to almost every SNES game being two-dimensional. Even Link to the Past has nothing on Hyrule Field. Riding around on Epona is what this game is all about. Exploration in a fantasy setting. Enjoying the 3D feel of a physics system, it's just unbeatable. The freedom to go anywhere and do anything. North of the field is Castletown. This is the capital and sort of main city in Zelda. The only way to enter the city is to wait for the drawbridge to open every in-game morning. Holy shit, this game has a day and night cycle. Once inside, you're greeted with a surprise so nice, it almost brings a tear to my eye. This is a gamer's happy place right here. All the characters, the creative shops, the beautiful color scheme, the fact that the camera is pivoted on the fountain, this cute married couple just dancing the day away, everything here is just so damn happy. And the music! We'll talk about the music in this game later, but spoiler, I really like it. You march your way up to Hyrule Castle, but you gotta do a little stealth mission to get past these guards. It's not too hard, and I actually really like this section. If you mess up, they don't send you back too far. Once you do make a mistake, it's hard to make the same mistake twice. Seriously, it's a really fun section of gameplay. I think moving forward, there will never be an annoying stealth section in a Zelda game again. Just a few more videos, guys. Now you find out you cannot go through the front gate of the castle. But maybe there's a past Zelda game that teaches us exactly where a secret entrance to the castle might be. Oh my god, this game's so awesome. I'm so glad I lost all of my friends for this. But this game is more evolved than Link to the Past. They were kind enough to give you a sign that you were going in the right direction. And this game's sign is a short, red-shirted man with blue overalls and a mustache.
Mario, I thought Link killed you. Come on, welcome back to the holidays.
Even though Link should be finishing the job, he ends up helping him.
Hey, don't get disappointed, everyone. Link's a fair boy. He's not gonna kill Mario while he's sleeping. He's gonna find a much more creative way to kill him later.
To wake him up and get him to move his fat ass out of the entrance to the castle, you have to find... Is that baby Peach? Why are Marin and Mario here? They died in Link's Awakening. Come to think of it, Mario shouldn't even be in Mario 64 either. If Reddit existed in 1998, the Zelda community may have started a riot over these timeline inconsistencies. Okay, turns out this isn't Marin. This is just a girl that looks completely like her. Did Link's Awakening happen after Ocarina of Time, and that's why he had the dream about a girl that looks like a girl he already knows? If only it was that simple. Topic for another day. Eventually, you make it where you need to go. Zelda's garden. If you fuck around with the window, this happens.
Holy shit! Dude just hooked a C4 at Link. The princess is right there, dude! You meant to keep her safe, not bomb her garden!
Bombing aside, Link approaches Princess Zelda. She hushes Link as she doesn't want to be caught spying on boys. The boy in question? Ganondorf, the king of thieves. Hold on. Ganondorf? I know Ganon. He's the guy. He's a big blue pig, or like a dog or something. I don't know Ganondorf. This guy is Ganon, king of bacon and ham sandwiches, with extra mustard, not the king of thieves. We later find out that this is Ganon's human form. And what a way to introduce us to the new villain of the 3D branch of Zelda games, without completely taking us out of our comfort zone. See, a Zelda fan is as attached to Ganon as a Mario fan is attached to Bowser. But, to be fair, Zelda's a bit more of a story-driven game than Mario. Wouldn't it be cool if we had a different villain? We've already fought Ganon twice and stopped him from being resurrected once. And wouldn't it also be nice to have a villain that is smart, cold, calculated, and mistrusting? More of a Sauron than a Smog. Never watched Lord of the Rings, I don't know if I'm using these tropes right. Yell at me in the comments, I guess. Now that probably sounds like you can't have your cake without eating it too, right? Well, clear some space for your metaphorical stomachs and fridges, cause boom, the answer is here. Ganondorf. The same old guy we all know and hate, but now he's a dude with a far more sinister and calculated aura to him. Our first shot we get of Ganondorf outside of Link's dream is him bowing down to Zelda's father, the King of Hyrule. But Zelda has prophetic dreams, same as Link, of him entering the sacred realm and using whatever power is stashed away in there to take over Hyrule. Zelda tells Link that the only way they can enter the sacred realm is to gather the 3 sacred stones. Link has already proven himself a mighty warrior, as he has already gotten one of them. So Zelda sends him off to go get the other 2 stones. On his way out, Zelda teaches Link a song that has been passed down through her family for generations. Zelda's Lullaby. The use of music in this series is really something. Repeating songs is one thing, sure, but using different renditions that evolve alongside the power of each of Nintendo's consoles is such a neat little look into the history of Nintendo's consoles. But the real impressive thing here is how songs are used in different contexts. Zelda's Lullaby in Link to the Past and most of the future entries in the series is simply Zelda's theme song. And I love that. Character themes are so important and versatile. But this game takes it one small step further. Zelda's Lullaby, being a song that is passed down through the royal family, just gives this song a whole other deeper layer of importance. In Ocarina of Time, Link is able to play this song to show he has favor with the royal family. And later in the series, we learn about its counterpart and its prophetic connection. And it's not just Zelda's Lullaby. The intro theme song to Ocarina of Time that I love so much can first be heard elsewhere in the series, in The Legend of Zelda, when Link plays the magical flute. This is probably used as the theme song to Ocarina of Time to show that this game is about a magical musical instrument. But the somber nature of this song shows that this instrument and the journey named after it is something bittersweet, something special, something to be cherished.
What if Zelda's just making all this shit up?
With that, Zelda's guard Impa shows Link out. Impa? Wait, Impa? The old lady from Zelda 2's instructional manual? Dang, Granny, you are looking good for your age. Like, what's your secret? Like Pilates, like certain like lotions and stuff? What's your exercise routine? I gotta be doing that shit twice a day. And with that, Zelda's plan is being set in motion. This kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones. Okay, I know that sounds weird, hear me out. Ganon has sent his wacky little monsters to ravage the country. Link's being sent to stop the monsters, and furthermore, claim the sacred stones before Ganondorf's minions. It's scheme versus scheme, and we are at the head of our leader's charge. The other 2 stones are across the country. One of them's at Death Mountain, and And there's one in Zora's Domain. To get to Death Mountain, you have to cut through Kakariko Village. This place is just a little town and it's very unassuming, and nothing too crazy of note. So it's really nice to force the player to go through this village to get where they have to go. I like this place, but it's not an underground ocean base or on top of a volcano. Here you can find an old man who is partly turned into a Skulltula. These creepy spider guys. If you bring enough gold Skulltula coins, he will give you a bigger wallet and some other neat stuff. The Death Mountain dungeon, named Dodongo Cavern, can't be entered until you play the Chief of the Gorons a song that he likes. Turns out Zelda's lullaby was a little too bore snore for him. So you gotta go back to Kokiri Forest and talk to Saria. Introducing us to the Lost Woods. This is a forest only true Kokiri are allowed to navigate. See, I always thought this maze was just a little guessing game on where to go, so I've memorized most of the layout. Turns out you're able to just follow the sound of Saria's music, as it leads to Saria playing her song. She's outside of what seems to be another temple, but you can't access it just yet. Her and Link have a nice reunion. I saw her like 5 minutes ago, but it's good to see her again. She teaches Link Saria's song. This song stuck in my head forever. Man, yet another creative use of music. Not only is it just nice background music, but it's also being pumped through the forest on Saria's JBL speaker, allowing her companions to navigate. Back to Death Mountain, we play Chief Darunia the song. And you are given the bomb bracelet, allowing you to pick up these flowers that also act as bombs, letting you go into Dodongo Cavern. Before you enter, however, I feel like I want to point out, there are heart pieces in this game. Collect 4 of them and boom, you got another heart slot. The reason I'm mentioning it now is because my favorite heart piece in the entire Zelda series is right here. To get this heart piece, you have to backflip down this hill. But to backflip, you have to click the A button, which is the same button as the bomb button. So you have to pick up this bomb, get rid of it, and then backflip down the hill, allowing you to get the heart piece. You might be asking, why do you have to backflip? Why can't you just normally jump? Alright, here's an N64 controller. We're gonna uncensor it. I'm sorry you had to see this. Which button on here do you think is the jump button? Go ahead. Take your time. If you said there is no jump button, then ding, 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 we have a winner. The only way to jump in this game is walk up to a gap and then just keep on walking. I'm so used to Link jumping like this that I actually like it now, and it was really weird when they gave him a jump button. But if I was a kid in the 90s playing this for the first time, why the fuck can't he just jump with a button? Dodongo Cavern, baby! A lot of fire and a lot of bombs. I really like the choice to make Link only use bomb flowers scattered around, and then later letting you use bombs from your damn pocket. The bomb flowers makes you play more strategically, and this temple plays into that. You can't just take out a bomb and put it wherever you need to. You need to grab it and run like hell before it detonates. And by the way, our job in Dodongo Cavern here is to stop the big Dodongo from killing the Gorons. You know, I'm pretty sure this is the first time in the Zelda series we've ever seen a Goron. And the first thing I thought when I saw these guys was, dang, they're big. How many rocks do they eat? And here we have the big Dodongo himself.
It's the guy from Zelda 1!
Dodongo dies, Darunia likes you, Link gets harassed, and he gets the red sacred stone. You make your way to Zora's domain as you meet the king of the Zora. He says their fish deity, Jabu Jabu, ate his daughter? What? Well, I did say this reminded me of Game of Thrones, only death may pay for life and all. It was a sacrifice we needed to make in order to keep a long summer and a short winter. Okay, not actually, but to investigate, we gotta wait for the king of the Zoras to scooch aside so we can see Jabu Jabu.
Move already!
Here's Jabu Jabu. He's, oozing with wisdom.
Oh no, not 4!
This dungeon is actually in the belly of Jabu Jabu himself, which is pretty unique as far as Zelda dungeons go. I really like the aesthetic on this one. I don't know why there's so much electricity and buttons inside of him, but hey, maybe he swallowed a circuit board. The king's daughter, Princess Ruto, is here to help Link. Well, she's here because she was swallowed, but she's helping Link while she's there. And she wants Link to help him cure Jabu Jabu, as the big boss fight at the end of this thing is making Jabu Jabu sick and eat little children. She gets stubborn and refuses to move at certain points, making her a glorified companion cube, allowing you to use her for puzzles. She's also a bit of an escort mission, but being able to carry her around at your own pace really makes it a lot more fun than most other escort missions in gaming. Once you cure Jabu Jabu by beating the boss, Ruto thanks Link by offering his hand in marriage. Wait, How come there's so many ladies that Link gets flirty with in these games? Ruto proposes to Link, not Marin and Link share what seems to be a romantic connection, and Zelda is the Princess Peach type character. Could it just be that Link has, my script says W Riz. God, I gotta stop writing at 1 in the morning. Actually, while it's not fully confirmed, it is widely believed that this game was originally going to be a dating simulator. Okay, not entirely, but it was gonna have some aspects of dating, like in Persona. That's really cool, and I wish they kept that in. Me and Jabu Jabu would have made a great couple.
I do not consent to this marriage with a fish lady.
Her engagement ring sucks, I can't put that on my finger. Wait a minute. This is the Sacred Stone of the Zora. Let's go. Now we can head over to the Temple of Time and open the Sacred Realm before Ganon does. But as we show up to the gate of Castletown, we find out Link's prophetic dream is fulfilled. Zelda and Impa flee the castle. As Zelda tosses Link her blue ocarina, Ganondorf appears and wipes out Link. Zelda and Link were too late. Ganondorf's plan to overthrow Zelda's father has been set in motion. Zelda was gone, and Link was all alone. But he knew what he had to do. He had to finish what Zelda started. Ganondorf may have attacked, but Zelda's final act before fleeing was delivering the Ocarina of Time to Link, as this is the final tool that Link needs alongside the Sacred Stones to enter the Sacred Realm. Link collects Zelda's ocarina, the titular Ocarina of Time. He goes to the Temple of Time, placing down the 3 Sacred Stones, opening the door to a room containing the Master Sword. We've all played Link to the Past. We all know Link's signature weapon. If anything could defeat Ganondorf, it would be Link, wielding the Master Sword, just like he does in any other Zelda game. But this is not any other Zelda game. Ganondorf knew Zelda's plan all along. He knew Link would hold the keys to access the Sacred Realm. Ganondorf won. Link wakes up and learns that 7 years have gone by. The Master Sword deemed Link not yet worthy enough to wield it, so it sent Link 7 years into the future, showing him all the pain and suffering Hyrule has gone through in his absence and under Ganondorf's rule. This all happened because of Link and Zelda. They were just kids that got a hold of power beyond their understanding. They had good intentions, but they made a huge mistake. A stupid kid's mistake. But because of the nature of what they were dealing with, the consequences were catastrophic.
Oh my god, how much Lon Lon eggnog did I have?
Zach, where are all your friends?
They all betrayed me. They're assholes.
Were you only able to afford this new game by not giving your friends the gifts they deserve?
Oh, I gave them the gifts they deserve. They're just ungrateful.
You don't mean that. You're just frustrated with them. Maybe there's something you could have done differently.
What do I have to do?
Let's start with getting rid of the N64, and then... Fucking asshole!
Just look at the devastation caused by Link and Zelda. Goron City is a ghost town. Zora's domain has frozen over. Link's home, Kokiri Forest, is now crawling with monsters. And Castletown, the happiest place in the entire game, is now laid to waste, crawling with the undead inhabitants that used to live here so peacefully. I know this is just a non-optional part of the game's story, but I still feel bad every time I see this dark and twisted future that spawned from the ignorance of 2 children. But Link is no child anymore. His coming-of-age story shows literally through his change in form, but also poetically through his newfound responsibility. How the f*** do I fix this? With a mop? Cleaning up brick by brick? Sheesh, I hope Castletown has insurance.
Are you winning, son?
What? You're not my dad, who are you?
Ganondorf?
Well, I did just hallucinate seeing Princess Zelda, so I guess I should hallucinate Ganon as well.
Zelda? Is that who you just kicked out?
Yeah, she was telling me I was wrong for having no friends.
Oh, no friends? I've been there.
How long ago?
December 25th.
That's today!
Only today so far. Want to be friends?
Not really, but if you talk all my close friends with me and watch me play Zelda, I'll refer to you as a real friend until I make up my friends and talk shit about you.
Sounds like most friendships I've heard of.
Alright, let me get into the Christmas spirit. I got my Christmas hat, I got myself some Lon Lon eggnog, and hell, I even decorated my N64 like a gingerbread house. Okay, in between Link pulling the Master Sword and his awakening, Link goes to the Sacred Realm and meets Rauru. He reveals that he was the owl from earlier, and hey, I can see the resemblance. Turns out he knew Link was the prophesized hero and was following him on his journey to give him hints. Why is this bastard so cryptic then? If you knew that opening the Sacred Realms was so dangerous, then why the hell are you telling me how the Z button works? If the N64 controller was so hard to understand that explaining it is more important than stopping the world from ending, chances are that controller probably could have used a second draft. Well, now that it's too late, Rauru tells you to seek out the 7 sages to seal Ganon once and for all. Do you think Raru's human form can flip his head upside down just like the owl can?
Alright, Zach, you want to behave this way?
What took you so long? I need a refill.
I'm not waiting on you, and what took me so long was this.
What are you gonna do with that? Play hot cross buns?
What'd you do to my Nintendo 64?
What did you do to my house?
This isn't your house.
I stole the deed when you weren't looking.
What? That's a Subway gift card.
I sent us 7 years into the future.
What?
We should go see Revenge of the Sith.
Focus!
Oh, I'm focused. I'm getting my Nintendo 64 back. You better hand it over, or else I'm gonna be really mad.
Relax, it's still in your timeline, but I'm not sending you back until you make up with your friends.
How am I supposed to do that? They all hate me.
Get them the gifts they deserve.
How do I do that? I don't have any money.
Get a job!
You have about 3 years before things get pretty bad for the economy.
And while you're busy with that, I'm going to see Revenge of the Sith.
Oh boy, I love Star Wars.
Wait, Zelda, one more question. Do I really have to get a gift for Jake?
Yeah.
But he's just gonna play with the box anyways.
Too bad.
As I said before, Kokiri Forest, possibly one of the safest places in all of Zelda, is now crawling with monsters. Link fights through all of the monsters to get to the Sage of the Forest, his old friend Saria. The last time Link saw her was in that old temple in the Lost Woods. And there again is where they were destined to reunite. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have one of the greatest dungeons in all of Zelda history. This one's unreal, man. The first 3 dungeons were great, but they had the heavy task of having to teach the player how the mechanics work. The environmental puzzles you can pull off, combat on the 3rd axis, and carrying your fiancé to safety, cause she's too petty to be rational. But the Forest Temple understands that you get the point, and just focuses on making the best dungeon possible. It's all about getting these 4 ghosts together in order to power the main elevator. So that's how elevators work. The dungeon item here is the hook shot, and I am in love. As if grappling wasn't fun enough in Link to the Past, we're now able to do it in 3D. Now, of course, you can't swing, you're no Spider-Man or anything, but just being able to pick a spot you want to go and zip there is awesome.
Hook!
And man, this boss fight is phenomenal. Probably my favorite Zelda boss up until Tears of the Kingdom almost 30 years later. What seems to be Ganondorf shows up. He laughs at you like he did 7 years ago, and then changes to reveal he's just some weird magic clone. Phantom Ganon, as the game calls him, battles it out with Link. Jumping into paintings, reflecting himself onto other paintings, making you have to figure out which one is the real him. It makes use of your projectiles and swordplay until this ping-pong-like test of reaction time against him decides the fate of the boss fight. This fight is a true testament, and it really makes you prove if you have what it takes to save Hyrule. And with this imitation fight being so difficult, it solidifies how scary the real Ganondorf must be.
How are you continuing this retrospective if you haven't even finished the game?
It's 2005, anything's possible.
Finally, Link is able to talk to Saria, his friend from 7 years ago. She hasn't aged a day. She tells Link she knew he'd come, as it is his destiny to save the world. Finally awakened as the Sage of the Forest, Saria thanks Link. As the game tells you, Saria will always be your friend. It's also at some point explained, the reason Link has aged and Saria has not is because all Kokiri are biologically unable to age. They're eternally children. But Link? The reason he is allowed to age, the reason he never had a fairy all those years, it's because he's not a Kokiri. He's a Hylian, just a regular person. His parents died fighting in the Great Hylian Civil War and brought him to the Deku Tree as their last act. Man, this game is so incredibly dark.
I don't even know why you're doing this. You don't even like your friends.
We can't go back to 1998 without fulfilling Zelda's stupid request.
But forget the Nintendo 46. We can start a life in 2005.
Not without Zelda, we can't.
But Revenge of the Sith is out this year.
I didn't peg you as a Star Wars fan.
When the letters fly through space in the beginning? Fucking letters.
He's here!
One dungeon down and man, what a wild ride. I didn't even mention the two most important supporting characters in this game. First off is the Master Sword. It counts. I mentioned it as a plot device earlier, but as Link's main weapon, oh my god, what a jump in power. It's not as crazy of a jump in damage as the Master Sword in Link to the Past was, but man, slashing enemies into the ground with this feels so rewarding. Now, of course, I'm not sure how much of this has to do with the fact that the Master Sword is really strong, or the fact that Link now has the strength of an angsty teenager who accidentally caused a continental apocalypse. Either way, both seem to be pretty strong in my experience. Second, we have Sheik. This mysterious character that serves as Link's guide since Impa and Zelda fled the country. He seems to be a member of the Kakariko village, same as Impa. I wonder what kind of interesting lore we're gonna get about this character. I sure hope the secret isn't ruined in Smash Bros.
Hey Jake, thanks for stopping by.
Oh yeah, no problem. Kind of weird though. I haven't talked to you in like 7 years now.
Yeah, I've been focusing on mental health, you know, getting into sports. Also, some asshole transported me 7 years into the future, so there's that.
Oh, I've been there.
Hey man, that's a great story. Anyways, I just wanted you to stop by because I felt really bad last time I saw you. I gave you that shitty Christmas gift, and I'm just trying to make up for that.
No way!
Now you can make all the snow cones you want.
Hey Zach, have you seen my blender?
Get out.
No way! I can open up my own snow cone parlor now. I'm gonna call it, now get this name, Snow Business.
It kind of sounds like no business.
Oh, that's our gimmick, vacancy.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
Snow cone machine, it's a blender. I can't believe that worked. You know, even though it was still a crappy gift and can't stress this enough, not a snow cone machine, I still did only know he would want a blender because he told me countless times before he wanted a snow cone machine. It pays to listen to your friends. I don't know, I feel this weird tingly feeling. As if I did something good. Or, you know, all the skin's gonna melt off of my flesh. Death Mountain! The first time we saw this place was in Zelda 2, and oh boy, did it leave an impression. Sure, earlier in the game we came to Goron City, and even went down to Dodongo Cavern, but this time it's the real deal. There's this cool little timer up here in the top left, and I have no idea what it does. Maybe it's a Mr. Beast video. Maybe if the timer runs out and I'm still in the volcano, I get a Lamborghini. My Lamborghini looks a lot like a dead teenager. What is this, a Mr. Beast video or a Logan Paul video? Okay, the timer shows how long Link can be in the volcano without, like I said, his skin melting off of his body. To circumvent this, you have to wear the red tunic, which is only accessible by adult Link. Boom! He wears red now! Okay, I mentioned this before, but I don't like when Link's green tunic is replaced for a new one. Thankfully, for better or worse, this one doesn't offer armor bonuses. It just allows you to have a little bit of fire resistance for the volcano, so when you're done, you can take off the red tunic and put on the classic look whenever you want. Now, this is probably best. It allows players to throw on whatever color they want at any time in the game. But I do die a little inside seeing people finish this game and Link is dressed in blue with the mirror shield. But hey, at least he looks a lot better than the NES Burgundy or Link to the Past's Rainbow Fever Dream Nightmare. This dungeon's really fun. The goal of this dungeon is quite unique. You have to free all the Gorons from their jail cells. It's pretty neat to try to figure out each different way to get them out. The Gorons tell Link that to beat the final boss, he will need the Gigaton Hammer. I won't lie, when I first heard this, I was expecting this awesome, massive Warhammer, like Robert Baratheon's Warhammer from Game of Thrones, or hell, maybe like Stormbreaker from the Avengers. This legendary weapon that is Link's only chance to slay this otherwise impossible beast, in reality, it looks like this. I mean, hell, if it had to be tiny, they could have made it cool like Mjolnir. That looks like it's meant for battle. This, on the other hand, looks like you shingle a roof with it. Link finds Darunia, and the boss fight ensues. A big, long dragon named Volvagia. Volvagia. This boss fight is awesome. Honestly, every boss fight in this game clears every boss fight prior in the Zelda series, except maybe Link to the Past Ganon. Link slays the dragon. Darunia reveals he's the Fire Sage. Darunia and Saria? If they're the sages, I spot a pattern. The next sage is gonna be none other than Jabu Jabu. Zora's domain is probably the most fucked up place by Ganon. The Gorons got imprisoned, but the Zoras got frozen. This place is almost unrecognizable. Actually, to be fair, the Kokiri are terrorized daily by monsters, and Castletown citizens are killed and turned into Redeads, which are essentially zombies. So, okay, but the Zoras probably won't thaw properly, and they'll probably die. A lot of death in this game. Nintendo, this is for kids. What are you doing? Damn, even Jabu Jabu's missing. Where he used to reside is now replaced by glaciers. Once again, reminding us of the destruction caused by two kids. This frozen wasteland and destruction of an entire society. Zora's domain is now frozen colder than a snow cone at the hit snow conery Snow Business.
You know, these are actually pretty good.
Glad you liked it. Sorry I didn't get you a gift.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you gave me a snow cone, so that's gift enough. By the way, do you have a gift idea for Tony?
Oh, I've got a great idea.
Alright, we all know where this is headed. The dreaded water temple. Yikes. Remember when I said all the boss fights in this game are better than boss fights of past? This boss fight? No, this temple, everything about it is just screaming mid. I like the concept. It's a big water well that can only be navigated by changing water levels and using steel boots to weigh Link down. Beyond this making no sense, because remember, if Link is heavy with the boots on his feet, he's equally as heavy as if they're in his pocket. The worst part about this whole situation is that you have to go into your bag every time you want to equip the iron boots. So if you want to go a little bit up or a little bit down, get into your inventory, pal. You're gonna be seeing a lot of this. Now I never had this problem because I beat this game for the first time on the 3DS, which allows you to remap the iron boots and any boots to any button you want. Thank God! But the original games? Yeah, like I said, f you, you're gonna be seeing a lot of this. By the way, as much as I bitch about the N64 controller, there is one good thing about it. You see this? Not that, this. Thank you. There are now a lot more buttons for you to map to your dungeon items. This temple has a cool idea, but it's not executed properly. The underwater graphics on the N64 aren't the best either. This temple is just dark, cramped, and painful to navigate. Everything about this is claustrophobic and miserable, but halfway through, something weird happens. Link makes his way into the room, and it is very different to everything we've seen in this temple so far. It's bright and looks like it could go on forever. The floor is reflective water, which gives an illusion of even more space. On opposite ends, there's doorways, and in the center is a decaying tree. This room is absolutely beautiful to me, and I often think about what it means. The tree could represent Link himself, a shadow of the idea that he formerly thought he was a Kokiri, a child of the forest represented by a tree, but he's instead a Hylian, which means he is now aged and destined to decay, just like this tree. It could represent how, despite Link's best efforts, the Deku Tree died, and most importantly, it could symbolize Link's guilt for what he and Zelda have done to Hyrule. What? I did my high school report on Ocarina of Time, can't you tell? As Link walks through this room past the tree, his reflection disappears, and the way ahead is blocked off. You turn around to be face to face with none other than Dark Link. You go to attack him, but it's no use. He's a mirror of Link and just parries all of his attacks. He's the same strength and the same speed. He deflects all items you send after him. Sure, there's cheese strats online to make this fight a breeze, but not in 1998 there wasn't. Maybe there was in 2005. Your only hope is to fight like hell and try everything you have to confuse him and get yourself the victory. As Link defeats his inner darkness literally, you get a strange feeling that Link's inner guilt has been defeated as well. Glad you feel good about yourself, Link, but the Zoras have undergone cryogenic genocide because of you. And can you believe that this isn't even the main boss fight of the temple? Although it might as well be, because I cannot remember what is. I don't know, it's something that I remember has terrible camera controls. Once you defeat it, boom! Ruda is the sage. Wait a minute, I thought it was supposed to be Jabu Jabu. But hey, Ruda is another character from Link's past that has now turned out to be another sage. And because years have passed, she now looks like this. You're gooning over a fish! Well, from that point on, Link just needs to find the other sages. Should be easy, right? Link finds Sheik in Kakariko Village, only for him to get annihilated by a light breeze. And he's supposed to be S tier in Smash Melee? Link now gets to do some funny time travel shenanigans to return to this dungeon in the past, do part of it as a child, and then do the rest of it later in the future as an adult. Dude, that's awesome! I love all the different ocarina songs Link learns throughout his journey, but to tell you the truth, I was a little bit disappointed when I found out the Song of Time doesn't actually move you through time, it just moves a couple of blocks around. I thought I would be able to time travel wherever and whenever I wanted. That way, I could see these two kids f up in real time and solve some puzzles similar to Link to the Past's Light World and Dark World. But it turns out the Master Sword is what time travels you. Sure. Until this part of the game, we were doing each dungeon strictly as young Link or adult Link, which is cool in its own right. We now get tougher dungeons and enemies now that we're adult Link, but going back and forth is just really cool. Side note, there's a guy near Gerudo Town called the Running Man, and if you beat him in a race, he apparently gives you a prize. Now, this race is rigged. No matter what, he will always arrive where you're going faster than Link will. But some people have a theory that you challenge him to the race as adult Link, go back in time, show up as young Link, and then wait 7 real-life years. Spoiler, this doesn't work. But down here in the Shadow Temple, we got this mysterious room. I wonder what's in here.
So you guys made snow cones with just a blender?
Yeah, and a little bit of gooba juice.
Huh, I wish my blender was also a snow cone machine. You know, this would have been great after my 7th viewing of Revenge of the Sith, but it's great now that I have it after my 30th.
Well, guys, I gotta show you what I got Tony. So, how's it look?
It looks great.
Pretty decent.
And he'll probably appreciate the art.
Well, I hope so. I spent the last 2 hours on it.
Hey,
Tony!
guys.
Well, I just want to make up for when I gave you that awful Christmas gift the last time I saw you. You know, I felt really bad, so I made you this. I call it the Tony Lisa.
No way, that's me.
Yeah, it was just gonna be you, but I decided I wanted all our friends to be in it. That's me, that's Jake, that's you, that's the pizza guy.
Oh, I didn't even notice the art. I just got a window without curtains, and this would be great for when I need shade.
Well, you know what? Great. As long as you like it, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And if you let me make a copy, I can hang in my snow cone shop.
And we can all go there after we watch Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah!
Wait a minute. Tony liked his gift? I mean, it was for the wrong reasons, sure, but I think deep down he knew it was a thoughtful gift. And not a game where the servers are gonna crash the next year. Man, maybe there's more to life than these silly Zelda games. Maybe not getting them the gifts they deserved in the first place was a mistake. Anyways, forget all this Christmas spirit shit. Let's go back to... What the hell is that thing? That looks like hell and nightmares came together, got turned into wax, got eaten by my 7th grade teacher, she shit that out, her dog ate it, vomited it out, and then it got evil wizard powers. And what's with this Shadow Temple? This whole place is creepy. And I'm not talking about Scooby-Doo for the PS1 Haunted Mansion ghost kind of way. I mean in an edgy Aonuma needs to get an MRI way. I'm not being harsh. Any man who concocted this kind of thing needs to get serious medical attention. Well, what's wrong with this place is it's actually one of my favorite parts about this entire game. The Hylian Civil War. Now, this is only really mentioned in passing, but Hyrule had a civil war before the events of the main story, leading fans to believe that every temple served a purpose in the Hylian Civil War. The water temple, even though it's underwater and very close to Zora's domain, has a lot of Sheikah architecture, and many believe that it was a Sheikah training ground. Death Mountain served as a prison, what with all the prison bars everywhere, and the Shadow Temple seems to have served as a place of torture. Death and misery looms through the air as the ghost of Hyrule's dark pasts manifests in this one horrific being, destined to fight Hyrule's last line of defense. Or some dev wanted to make some kid shit himself.
Well, Zach, you did it. We should go find Zelda so she can send you back to 1998.
Well, about that, I am enjoying giving gifts to everyone. Did you see how happy these guys were?
Well, these first few gifts were free for you to do. So what are your next gifts gonna be, and to who?
I'm Greg. I'm here to bring you a pizza.
Thanks for the pizza. There's a slice missing.
You haven't ordered a pizza since 1993. I haven't eaten since then.
You only eat when you take from my pizza?
Times are tough.
And that's about to change. It's Christmas, and I wanted to give you this.
The rest of the pizza?
Not just that, the box as well.
Sadly, I have a rare condition where I can't eat pizza without watching a space odyssey about a hero turning evil due to the carelessness of his mentors and the death of his wife.
I have just the movie for you.
Yeah! I have a challenge for all of you. What is the greatest movie of all time? If you said Revenge of the Sith, you're on the right channel. Well, after Link beats the last two temples, all of the sages are free. And God, I didn't even mention the Song of Storms, Epona Song, and the Sun Song side quests. Link causes a musical paradox by learning the Song of Storms in the future, then teaching it to the originator in Link to the Past. Link in the past learns Epona Song from Not Marin, and then in the future, when Mario's farm is taken from... Is that Luigi? He is only able to beat him in a race by taming Epona using that exact song, allowing Link to travel to Hyrule Field on horseback. Let's go, baby! This is what Hyrule Field was made for! Anytime you want to ride, you just have to play Epona's song, and like Johnny on the spot, you're hooked up and ready to go. And finally, the Sun Song, learned by Child Link as he explores the ancient tomb of the Hylian royal family. And if this graveyard wasn't cool enough, Link meets a gravedigger in the past named Dompe, and then in the future chases his ghost around to find more secrets in the crypt. This game is just filled with things to do. Like this random guy in Kakariko that's just bullied for the way he looks. You later find in the future that he travels to the Lost Forest and gets stuck in there forever. This cute creature named Skull Kid that Link has a duet with. The great fairies that give Link extra power and destroy my eardrums every time I talk to them. Which is a shame because the song is one of the greatest in the series. The Running Man that I beat once, dude, I swear, trust me. I skipped talking about the entire dungeon where we learned Ganondorf's backstory. How he tricked his nation into going to war and was only able to do so after his people, the Gerudo, were in shambles due to the Hylian Civil War. Is Ganondorf inspired by Hitler? And we find his parents were two evil witches that Link later has to fight. Probably a top 5 Zelda boss in my opinion. You even forge a massive greatsword with a Goron so large, he's in Ripley's Believe It or Not. Dude, this game is so good. I swear, I love it so much. Honestly, 100%ing this game would probably feel right. After all these problems were caused by us.
You know, as much as I like watching Star Wars over and over again, we should really get back to 2005. I got a cat to feed.
We'll get back soon, I promise, but I have a gift for you.
Me? Is this a copy of Revenge of the Sith?
Yep, now you can watch it whenever you want.
This is the best Christmas ever!
Can't wait to put this on my window.
Man, I can't wait to watch this for the 100th time.
With that, I'm gonna send you back to the present. I'm gonna do some time magic shenanigans to make your friends like you just as much in 1998 as they do now.
Once you mop up Hyrule as much as you can, you turn your sights to the man who tricked you. But first, one last talk with Sheik. She reveals to you the truth. The whole time, Sheik was actually Princess Zelda. Oh my god, this is such a shock to me because I'm playing this for the first time in 1998, and it definitely wasn't spoiled for me when I played Super Smash Bros. Brawl and I was on the character select screen, and my Wii Remote screamed at the top of its lungs at 3 o'clock in the morning when my mom was trying to sleep. In all seriousness though, this is such a cool plot twist. It's a little obvious for some, granted with the hair color, and we only see Sheik when we don't see Zelda, but the fact that Sheik masqueraded as a guy definitely helps with the surprise factor. By the way, I never mentioned, the Shadow Sage is Impa, and when you awaken her, she mentions Zelda briefly, but not where her whereabouts are. But other than that, Zelda has been very absent from the story in the future, and hell, even in the past after Ganon gets the Triforce of Power. Speaking of the Triforce, Zelda reminds Link that the Great Deku Tree's final words to Link involve the story of how the Triforce was created. It was when the 3 goddesses of Hyrule left this world. The ripple in reality manifested into 3 triangles, which grant a person ultimate power, wisdom, and courage. I feel like power's the best one, wisdom's kinda balanced, but man, courage gets a bum deal. If you have unlimited power, you have unlimited courage. Wait a minute, unlimited power? Zelda reveals that she has the Triforce of Wisdom and Link has the Triforce of Courage. The reason for this is that when Ganon reached out in the Sacred Realm to touch the Triforce all those years ago, he was too focused on the power aspect, splitting the other 2 pieces of the Triforce off to those who deserved it. Link, the most courageous, and Zelda, the most wise. Zelda's the most wise? Her wisdom caused an apocalypse. I don't know, maybe she got an A on a math test or something. Zelda tells Link that they gotta go fuck up Ganondorf, and Link's like, well, yeah, I was already gonna fucking do that anyways. Link takes one last stroll through the ruins of Castletown and heads to Hyrule Castle, ready to put things right. We've snuck into Hyrule Castle before. Surely it can't be too hard this time. It appears they've upped security since we've last been. The final dungeon is Ganondorf's castle. Honestly, it's a little lackluster. It's just 6 different hallways where you summon each sage, and I do like this a lot, but by the time I was done, I thought we were only like a third of the way through. Turns out it's the whole dungeon, but that's okay. That way, we get more attention devoted to Ganondorf himself. When you walk in, Ganondorf has Zelda in chains, and he is playing some tunes on the keyboard. Ganondorf has a good enough laugh about the fact that Link and Zelda for the 2nd time have brought him all the magical artifacts he needs. But this time, Link's got hands! Link and Ganondorf have a duel for the ages. And as far as Ganondorf's human form goes, this is the first time we get to see these 2 step into the ring. It's a lot like the Phantom Ganon boss fight, plus or minus some cool tricks to keep it fresh. This is what Phantom Ganon boss fight has trained us for. Link proves he's a better ping pong player and beats Ganondorf's ass as Ganondorf lays on the ground. Zelda calls him a pitiful man. Due to either Ganondorf's death or maybe the sheer weight of Link's ego after beating Ganondorf, the tower starts collapsing. Link and Zelda book it, and Ganondorf's minions try and stall Link and Zelda to take them down with their king. There's a timer on screen, but nice try. This isn't a Mr. Beast video. You can't fool me. With a combination of Link's swordplay and Zelda's magic, they make it out unscathed. Hyrule is saved. But wait. One of the greatest boss fights in all of gaming is yet to happen. Ganon's human form is dead, but out sprouts his true form, the Ganon Beast. Look at this menace! He still has his pig-like features, but he's a lot skinnier and his tusks are massive. Instead of a spear, he has these 2 huge great swords. Link gets disarmed as the Master Sword flies out of his hands and into the fire. But Link has the power of courage on his side. He uses anything else he can. The hammer, any of the great swords, his bow and arrow, the hook shot, anything he can. Once he halts Ganon enough, Zelda allows Link to get to the Master Sword. She subdues Ganon with her own magic, and Link performs one of the most iconic finishers in gaming history. And with that, Hyrule this time has truly been saved. Ganon is finally defeated. The sages seal him where he spent most of his human life trying to enter, the sacred realm. Seeing the dramatic irony, and to be honest, lacking a sense of humor, Ganondorf vows revenge on Link, Zelda, and all of their descendants. Zelda thanks Link for saving the world and admits her faults. She says she was so young and could not comprehend the consequences of trying to control the sacred realm, and she apologizes for dragging Link into all of it. Zelda uses her magic and the Ocarina of Time to send Link back in time. She tells Link that he is the hero of time, but he deserves so much more. He was robbed of 7 years of his life, so she sends him back, not to when he usually gets sent back in time, but before Ganondorf gets the Triforce of Power, and before Zelda's plan becomes catastrophic. We get to the end credits as we watch all the sages. It seems they aren't alive, they're just ghosts, but they're happy. They're dancing and cheering, as Ganondorf has been sealed, and Hyrule has been saved. Ruto's father and Mido sit in sadness over the loss of their loved ones, but they comfort each other. Link appears as a child, returning the Master Sword to the Temple of Time, but Navi starts to fly away. Was it something I said? Link has one final job, however. He goes to Zelda and tells her everything that's about to happen in the future, and everything Ganondorf is planning to do, stopping Ganon in this timeline as well.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think you were gonna learn the true meaning of Christmas. I was just gonna leave you stranded as a punishment.
Well, I'm a little insulted, but not just that, I have a gift for you as well.
Your Nintendo 64?
Yeah, because you showed me how important Christmas is, I wanted to show you how important Zelda is to me.
You know, I've heard about this game. It has a water temple, and it sounds really fun.
Lower your expectations.
Well, thanks for the gift anyways. Merry Christmas.
Do you see why I started this video calling this game S tier? I just had to do it. I had to jump the gun. As if you guys would even question where I would rank this game while watching this video. The story alone, most Nintendo game stories that we had up until this point was just 2 lines scribbled on the instruction manual. But now we get this. Regret, guilt, love, Jabu Jabu. This is insane. Nothing in life is perfect, but damn it if this isn't the closest we are ever going to get. The bosses, the backstory of the Hylian War, the fact that this is one of the first games in gaming history to get 3D right. Everything about this game is just so good. It's incredible. It's classic Zelda. Please, I'm telling you, play the game. Play it. It's so good! I love the fact that this is the most vanilla Zelda experience, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I love gimmicks like in Majora's Mask or Wind Waker, but when I think of Hyrule, if I think no nonsense, true Zelda, it's this. It's not even a question. The world building, the characters. Do I just end every video listing random things off? If you're ever going to take any of my recommendations, anything in life, I recommend you play Ocarina of Time. So is this game an S tier? No. No, it can't be. S tier is not good enough. Look at the length of this video! And people are still going to comment that I left things out. There is so much to love about this game that it must, no, it shall receive all that it's meant to. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, receives its spot in S+ tier. Perhaps the greatest game of all time.
Well, on this cold Christmas night, I sure learned a valuable lesson. Stupid Zelda games aren't everything. Now, it sure was a shame that I missed out on playing the best Zelda game ever, but at least I have friendship. Wait a minute. I just got a gift. It says it's from Jake and Tony. I got a copy of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time!